we'll talk more about best of. I know we're going to be talking about it for the next month, off and on. But one of my favorite comments that I saw on social media so far was somebody said, "Man, I wish I had the money to put together this list." And I wanted to respond to that and go, "I wish we did."
I wish I did too.
I wish we all had that money too.
No doubt.
Yeah. And welcome everybody to episode 216 of the Mashup, the shortest bourbon conversation you're going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Stephen, Anthony, and Kenny. What is up, Ken Arthur?
Anthony Limperos in the house.
I feel like it's taken me a second to get back on track with the bourbon consumption after that best of stuff we had going on there.
I've been taking it light. I've been taking it easy.
Taking it easy. I've been taking it easy as well, but here we are at New Year's Eve. You can't take it easy on New Year's Eve, can you, sir?
Believe it or not, I will have a lot more. I will overindulge in food. I love Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve and Super Bowl. Kind of like my fun. Just all like the good little snacky, the buffalo chicken dips, and
I gotcha.
The pigs in the blanket. And
you sure about that? The way you said it, I didn't know if you were going to have the pigs in the blanket or not.
Well, it depends on what all Shannon makes. And then got like this rotel with sausage, cream cheese kind of stuff.
Rotel.
So just, love Thanksgiving for different food, but Super Bowl and New Year's Eve are just like,
right.
It's my little.
Right.
So I really don't drink much at all on New Year's Eve.
Okay, well, some refer to New Year's Eve as amateur night because everybody, whether they're drinking or not, is usually drinking on New Year's Eve. But you take the opposite approach, which is that you're not going to have pours on New Year's Eve. Huh?
Not much, usually not, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm in it for the food. We usually hang out,
right?
Play cards. Just Shannon might do, we might do karaoke.
Oh, karaoke! Are you serious?
Yeah, man. She got like a karaoke machine.
Oh, nice, man. I gotta see. That's the kind of stuff we gotta do. I mean, well, even though we're recording this in advance of New Year's, we know this episode is going to drop on New Year's Eve, and so we want to wish all of our listeners great prosperity and wonderful bottles in the new year. Man, I got to go back for a second. When you mentioned Rotel, the reason I started laughing when you said that is because I don't know what this is like. If this is just I hesitate to call it a one certain type of people thing or whatever, but Rotel. I remember one time we were going to like a potluck in our neighborhood and there was a sign-up sheet. And at first it started as a group text message, and the group text message got out of control real quick because like 10 people wanted to make Rotel. I looked at my wife. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. And it was like, oh, the cheese dip. I'm like, I got you. Like everyone has a variation.
People want to make it because a lot of people just literally put a block of Velveeta cheese
right
in a crock pot and melt it
right.
with Rotel, and you have literally taken $7 and 4 minutes of your time and you're done.
Right. So. Yeah. Everybody called that. And so it was funny. My wife and I joked how many people were going to show up with Rotel. And then for me, I was like, why the heck is this a thing? I mean, it's delicious. You want to eat a lot of it. But my buddy's mom made a variation of that. Every Thanksgiving in Ohio, after everybody was done with the families, we would go to my buddy's house. And they always had a version of Rotel, but had ground beef in it as well. Yeah. And, man, that stuff would get smashed. There was like 3-4 crock pots, I feel like, not the big ones, the smaller ones. And we would just eat that from, the moment we got over there until whatever time we checked out, which was probably like 2 in the morning. I haven't seen 2 in the morning in a long time. Do you stay up that late?
Sometimes I do. Honestly, I usually go to bed like 12 or 1.
Right.
On a regular.
Just 12 or 1?
No. 12 or 1.
Oh, 12 or 1. I was going to say 12 or 1 is very specific.
No, 12 or 1.
It's the witching hour as soon as it's 12 or 1 and Kenny's in bed.
I don't have to get up to like, till like 7:30. So
okay.
If you get to bed at 12, I get 7 hours sleep.
Well, I run on a little bit of sleep as well like that, but I'm trying to get better about trying to take a little bit better care of myself. I know everybody always has the New Year's resolutions, so we'll see. Those usually last like a couple of weeks. You're not a resolution guy, right? If I remember from last year, you said you don't really do resolutions.
Not really, right.
Yeah.
I mean, just, I get to the point where it's not a January 1st, that's my thing. I get to the point where it's like, all right, dude, got to make a change. We got to do this.
Yeah, like, hey,
these
fatty.
pants aren't fitting anymore, man. Like, I'm down to, I've got like one pair of pants I can wear. So, it's time to tighten up a little bit.
Right.
That kind of thing.
For me, that happens every beginning of the school year. August rolls around, and I'm like, I get all my stuff together, and I'm like looking at what I got to wear to teach and stuff like that. And the one year, I can't remember, I think it was 3 years ago, none of the pants fit. Like not a single pair. And I was like, this is massively embarrassing. And I think I lost like 7 or 8 pounds just on the embarrassment. Naturally I put it all back on and have get new pants. But how about that for New Year's? But anyway, what about the ball dropping? You stay up? You watch anything? Do you watch any of the
we used to stay up and watch
the hoopla?
Just sometimes we fall asleep before that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we do stay up just to watch it and then kind of usually hit the hay just shortly after that.
Well, my favorite part of the recent times of watching the New Year stuff is the kids don't ever make it up that late. I think the one time we did wake them back up for something so they could ring in a New Year, but we usually do it earlier than the kids go to bed. And then we watch it's amazing how freewheeling the correspondents on different news channels and all that just get drunk, right? And it's all on display, and somehow or another that's okay. And so I'm all there for that because I love watching people get, for lack of a better word, really, I can't swear. I wanted to say the S word, S-faced. I love seeing people get S-faced and then have to like try to ring in the New Year. That's one of my favorite recent traditions. So my wife and I enjoy that a lot. But anyway, enough small talk here, sir. We have a new bottle to review tonight on this short. And I'm just going to get right into it, if that's okay with you.
Let's do it.
So the bottle that we have here was actually given to us by
Andrew.
Andrew, yeah. So Andrew is a listener of the podcast, friend. We do barrel picks with him. He's a really great guy. And last time we met up, he said, here's a bottle I want you guys to review. So here we are. The bottle is Redwood Empire Haystack Needle, single barrel, grain to glass, straight bourbon whiskey. I read everything on that front label. The distillery is, of course, the Redwood Empire Distilling, and that's out of California. It's great in California, I believe. And the bottle date on this one, I think, is 2023 or 2024. I'm not sure. Ooh, there we go. The ABV on this is, hold on one second. I don't know what the ABV is because I'm trying to pour this, and I'm trying to look at the bottle. Dang it, Kenny. It's 60.
We're missing Steven, see?
Yeah, we're missing Steven. He's good for all that. It's 62.9. The proof is 125.8. The mash bill on this is really unique. It's a 4-grain at 72% corn, 18% rye, 5% wheat, and 5% malted barley. This is actually 8 years old, age stated. It's their own distillate. And the other information on here is that this is a barrel type of New American Oak. I'd hope it would be. Char level 3. And it says the water source is the Russian River Aquifer. So that's really nice. And then the last but not least, the MSRP on this, we believe, is about $150. But we did see in the Reddit bourbon space that some people are getting these for $115 to $120. So pretty hefty price tag for their own distillate here at 8 years old.
Yeah, I'm only familiar with the Redwood Empire from their 11, 13, 14 year sourced MGP stuff.
Right, I remember that.
So when Andrew gave this to us, I was like, oh, it's their own stuff, okay. But also, when I found that it was their own stuff, I also thought it would be like that $69, $79, $89 type price tag.
Right.
And I was kind of shocked to see it was that much. So we will see how it tastes. But Andrew said he loves it. We'll see how we like it.
Yeah, exactly. I always feel, don't you feel a little bit intimidated when we have somebody who's not just a listener, but they're also a friend, and they're like, here, I love this bottle, you got to try it. I'm kind of like, what if we end up hating it, right?
Yeah, I know. But the weird part is, on the barrel picks we go on, a lot of times what Andrew likes, we end up liking similar.
Right.
On the Woodford, we were not, though. On the Woodford,
correct,
he liked something that I thought was really bad. But on the other picks, it's like we've kind of agreed on everything else. So it's just hit or miss. You never know.
Well, remember on the Woodford pick, Andrew and Shannon, your wife, and Andrew's buddy, the three of them aligned against us. You and I were on the same page on that pick, and they were like, nope, we want this one. And anyway, it didn't matter because Woodford's picking experience, not to remind everybody, especially our first-time listeners, is not the best picking experience. So anybody new to the podcast knows that we love to rake on Woodford and their 90.4 proof.
And over 200 tasting notes.
And 200 tasting notes. Yep, absolutely. And one of them is actually not drywall, even though sometimes you can taste drywall. It's some of their offerings.
We need to email them. They need to update.
They need to update that, yeah.
And add drywall as well.
Actually, 223 flavors now. There's drywall in there. You got to put that on your list.
And speaking of list, the Woodford Batch Proof actually did pretty good on our list.
That's true. So as much as we make fun of it,
but what is it? It is batch proof.
It's batch proof,
which is not what? Not 90.4.
I think that one's this year's was what 119.5. I think it was somewhere around 120.
Yeah, 119, 120, 21.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Once again, man, if some of their stuff can be really good if they just got out of their own way.
That's true. Well, what would the mashup be without making a little bit of a remark about Woodford? Well, it just wouldn't go.
we have to talk just enough trash to make sure that we don't get free samples from these distilleries.
Right, exactly.
We got to stay off of their media list, right?
Right. Stay off the media list so that we can, again, fund our own crazy best of list. I love one of the comments. We'll talk more about best of. I know we're going to be talking about it for the next month off and on. But one of my favorite comments that I saw on social media so far was somebody said, man, I wish I had the money to put together this list. And I wanted to respond to that and go, I wish we did.
I wish I did too.
I wish we all had that money too.
No doubt.
Yeah. It's very fun, but also very taxing on the wallet to self-fund that list of 66 that we put together. And even some of us more than others because of just general lack of access to bottles. But we're going to figure that out for next year. So,
yep.
All right, you want to go in?
Let's nose and taste
here. Well, the nose is showing the corn, so I feel like my sniffer needs to be fixed after the best of. I haven't done much bourbon drinking, and when I have, it's been like mixed drinks.
Really? Yeah. I've laid a lot lower, man.
Yeah, like I made Keeneland Breezes for my parents when they came over. The good old Makers ginger ale, orange, and triple sec. People have heard me talk about that. Crowd pleaser, but not like drinking typical bourbon. Not like we normally sip. So what are you getting on the nose, man? I'm just getting like, a little bit of. I guess it would just be like the alcohol, a little bit of the corn. Not a whole lot of.
I'm
oak.
getting some sweetness.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fruit sweetness. More like just like a confectioner sugar, powdered sugar kind of sweetness.
Right. I get that. Yeah. You're right. It's almost like a frosting sweetness.
Color's a little bit reddish on this. It is their own stuff, right?
Yeah, it's their own stuff. Faint hint of smoke, too.
All right, I'm going to go taste, man.
All right.
Because honestly, dude, I'm still just congested.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
well, thanks for telling me before we recorded here.
Well, I mean, we didn't kiss. So.
Not yet. Gotta sip this whiskey first.
I'm just constantly congested this time of year, man.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Same
my
here.
nose is never great. But I did drink my 1910 Peloton.
So my predominant note on this is a very strange one that I've never got before, which means that either my palate's off or else this has got a really unique flavor to it. So follow me on this one. I'm getting a little bit of high C fruit punch. You're like, nope.
No.
Power of persuasion.
Definitely more fruit on the palate than there was on the nose, because the nose I did not get fruity.
It's really interesting. It's kind of like starts off with all the sweetness, and then there's a lot of the spices in the back end, kind of like a peppery allspice kind of on the sides, the back of the tongue. So finishes medium long. Mouth feels a little bit on the thin side.
Numbing and tingling on the mouth.
Yeah, numbing and tingling. A little bit on the
I don't know if that's just the
thin side, though.
Don't know if that's the 125 proof or whatever it is,
right.
Or just that's more of that spice, like kind of just a spicy, peppery kind of spice to it.
Well, the predominant grain after corn is rye, and then it's got a little small percentage of wheat and malt.
So rye
barley.
is the okay.
Yeah, so
higher rye.
Rye is the flavoring grain, 18%. It's mostly corn.
Okay.
It's corn.
Yeah.
It's 72% corn.
I'll tell you what I did not get.
What's that?
Cover all 9,000 taste bud. Aerate it. Warm it up. Driving up that top note. That cream. Pure vanilla. Sweeteners. That's a 10.
I did not get that on it.
You didn't get that pure vanilla?
You got a little more peppery and spice.
Yeah. No, definitely the finish is peppery and spicy. With the front palate being a little bit more like sugary, sweet. Like I said, for some reason I'm getting like a red fruit punch, high C kind of note, which is not bad. I mean, I've never really described anything like that before we tasted it. So
the fruit on the front it's a big fruit on the front.
Yeah.
I can see why Andrew likes it.
Yeah, I can
because it does
too.
hit multiple.
Yeah.
It's like I had a buddy of mine, Chris Baker. I think he listens to the pod still regularly, but he liked the old school, the old Ezra 7.
Yeah.
114 proofer.
Okay.
But same thing with it. I mean, it literally like the flavors came in like 4 or 5 different waves. Like it just had so much different stuff going on.
Right.
He liked that one a lot. Just where it so this is the same thing. It's got the fruit on the front. But it's also spicy. It's got a lot of different things going on.
Right. So you had previously mentioned to me just in conversation that you wanted to start rating some of these whiskeys. Is this going to be the first night that we're going to rate something?
That's something, it's something we had talked about. Part of that stemmed from our best of blinds.
Right.
We had, 66 in the blinds, but I don't know how many I tasted throughout the year. I don't know if I tasted 100, 120, 150 different bourbons. I don't know. And so we talked about there's a lot of bourbons that just did not make it into the top 66. Mm-hmm. And the top 66 was not necessarily what we thought the 100%, which we're going to talk more about that. I guess I shouldn't talk about this a whole lot now, but wasn't necessarily what we thought was definitely these are the best 66. It was, hey, what's the best probably 20 to 30 to 30 to 35,
right?
But also what's some sleepers that might score really high against the big boys and things like that. So for 2025, I had said that I would like to probably give a true score, a 10-point system, just like we did for the blinds.
Right.
On every whiskey and bourbon that we drink on the pod, at least.
Okay. That would be cool.
Because we had a lot of listeners ask, hey, what about this bottle? What about this bottle?
Right.
Like, well, we did try that, and we decided on to put in the list. So what I think would be cool is once we do the blinds and you see what the actual scores are, to compare those scores against the ones that we didn't put into that. Because then you can say, okay, XYZ bottle was not included in the blinds, but it scored a 7.5, and so did this bottle that was in the blinds, and that we can kind of compare back and forth.
Okay.
But this is still dropping in 2024, so we can hold off on scoring if you want.
Okay, yeah, we'll hold off. We'll hold off on it. But I mean, that's a good thing to tease for the future.
Yeah,
we can definitely do that.
We are going to try to do that. Part of it's for us, part of it's for the listeners too.
Right,
You know?
and I've tried to incorporate that into my own thing now. So like JD Fritches, we mentioned them on a previous episode. My interaction I had with Bourbon Hunters when we went to go pick, which was a great experience that I had with them. But he gave me a box of blinds because I had previously given him blinds, and when I'm giving him my feedback, which I think I've tasted through 4 of them so far, and I'm 2 for 4. 2 I was spot on. 2 I was not far off, but like. I didn't put in a performance I thought I could, but I'm rating them all when I respond to him of what I said. If this wasn't our best of blinds, I'd rate it this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we're having a good time with that. So, yeah, I think the rating thing would be a good thing to pull off. But what are we thinking about this whiskey?
I'm going for my last little taste here.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Although I do like the initial fruit on the very front.
Right.
The rest of it is just more alcohol-y, bourbon-y, a little kind of a burn, ethanol-y to me.
Yep.
A little bit of peppery, like a rye could have. But front side I'm digging. The middle and ends is not for me as much. It's still good and it's full of flavor, but this is to me is one of those things where if this was $79,
right,
I could be all about it.
Yeah,
but at $119 to $149, depending on what the exact retail is, personally, I'm gonna be a pass.
Yeah. Oh wow, you went right for it. So.
Sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that you did that because I wasn't sure if we're going to blind anything against us or not. And since we're not, I actually am going to join you in saying that the only reason that I would pass on this is the price. And again, I know we're not too price conscious all the time on the mashup, but for this one, if I'm paying $150 for it, yeah, sure, I want to support the people that are doing it right, that are putting their own distillate out, that are putting something out like. I have never in the history of the podcast said something tasted like high C fruit punch. But The problem is that finish, like you said, and you know what's weird? I never used to care about the finish as much, and now I'm finding myself being like hugely about the finish, and it's not really the finish. It's what's flavor is left in my mouth. And I'm just not liking a whole lot of that sort of alcohol-y burn pepper, especially if there's $150. But this distillate has a lot of potential. Like this at 12 years old, if it's 12 years old and matures more and that finish is more soft and subtle, even at 126 proof, count me in, right? I'm going to like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of potential here.
And like I've always been a finish guy. Like, I mean, I've truly been a finish guy from when I first started.
Right. I was going to say you differ.
That's the opposite of which like Harry is a front guy,
right.
Not a finish guy. The reason for the finish for me is that's what is lasting and lingering, and that's like sees where it takes me and where what it does with me. But
it's also why I like Weller 12 so much, because it leaves such a nice candied flavor in your mouth.
I like Weller 12 because it tastes like water, and you feel like you're just drinking water.
Oh, you high proof guy over there.
No, Weller 12 is not bad.
That's another thing.
You actually double blinded me and
was that Mossick?
Mossick, I think, or that Weller 12.
I think he may have blinded us with it. That's what it was.
Was it him?
Yeah, he
blinded
blinded us with it. Yep,
that's what it was. And it surprisingly did way better than a previous Weller 12 that I had.
I think it was a brand new 23 or 24. I just remember being here one night and he pulled that out to blind us, and it was everybody liked it. Yeah, for sure. Was that podcast? I can't remember if that was on a podcast or not.
It might have been. I did pour you a little something just now, Anthony.
Yeah, and what you just poured now, goodness gracious. That's a really nice whiskey, and I think I know what it is.
Yeah, and this is why
this is not blind, ladies and gentlemen.
It's not blind. I just wanted. The thing is, so this is Dark Arts,
right?
This is a Dark Arts 10-year pick from OMWP.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought it was, but it's still really good.
I've got the Paddock pick. I've got Rock, the Rock Elites pick. I've got just some stuff that actually Macaulay's put out himself. And this is that same 130 to 150, 140 to 160 type price.
Right.
And that's what, for it to be their own distillate, it just seems a little bit high to me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we talk about Ben Holiday having such a high ceiling.
Right.
Is their own distillate at 6 and 7 and 8 years old is $59.
Yeah.
So, man, this being their own distillate, man, I was expecting either for $150, I was expecting wow, or I was expecting this would be really good at say $79.
Right. Yeah. Well, the one other thing I want to say about it is I do think across their product portfolio they do have a lot more accessibly priced whiskeys on the shelf. But maybe in the future we'll have to check some of those out, because I do think they have stuff that goes anywhere from like $40 to $80.
Okay,
but I think all of its blends. There's a rye and a bunch of other stuff. For a while there, when the MGP was drying up that they were putting out, I was seeing their bottles in a lot of places. So I looked at a lot of Redwood bottles. I'd be like, I wonder if this is the MGP one. I'd turn around and be like, no, but they were lower price, so you could tell. But I think this brand's got some promise.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad at all. Just a little bit more expensive than what I'd want for that, but it'd be curious to taste their less expensive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if it's not far from this.
We'll go and spend some more money.
So that's what we got to do.
There you go. Happy New Year.
Peace.
And with that, thanks for listening to this episode. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, BourbonOutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also,
head on over to our partner, the Woodwork Collective, at woodworkcollective.shop. Enter code Mashup for a 15% discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on the bottom in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.